Danny, I think you had one quick question on this topic, didn't you?
If that's,
and then I'll bring in Andrea. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Chair. I just want to push you a bit harder, if you don't mind, on this question of energy costs falling, because I think it feels like we're sort of betting the farm on this assumption. I mean, the whole basis of the forecast that you made, which is, in a sense, propping up the government's autumn statement, is on the assumption of very radical falls in energy costs over the next year. And when we were asking you why you assume that's to happen, you say, well, that's because what the market is predicting. I mean, that's what markets do. They make predictions, they make bets. I mean, is that really it? Or can you give us your own assessment of why you think energy prices are going to fall? Actually, there'll be negative inflation in energy next year. What is the reason for that? Are you assuming the war's going to end? Is that it? Or is there some massive increase in supply? What is it?
So we do rely on the futures curves as the guide for what energy price to use in our forecast. And I should say it's a convention used by most other macroeconomic forecasters. The Bank of England do the same. We are at pains to do sensitivity analysis and risk analysis around those numbers to explore the implications of different scenarios. Actually, back in July, we produced a whole chapter of our fiscal risks report looking at the risks around the outlook for energy prices, including scenarios where prices came back more quickly and stayed low, as well as scenarios where prices stayed high. Without getting inside the mind of people in the markets, you don't quite know what they're thinking about where energy prices are going to go. But you're right; it does assume that at some point in the coming 2 to 3 years, supply pressures on Europe ease through a combination of finding alternative sources of gas, LNG in particular, which has been rising, potentially an end to the war in Ukraine, but that is anyone's guess, and not something that we have any expertise in forecasting, and for that reason don't even try. And then also there's an element of demand destruction, which is that people shift away from lower the energy intensity in general of either their household or their business, or they find alternative sources of energy from gas as a way of bringing down the overall cost of energy to the country as a whole. And we assume that some combination of those things does bring down gas prices, and that appears to be what also markets are using. But you're absolutely right. A huge amount depends on that, that coming to pass. We do explore scenarios where gas prices are higher, and we are at pains to try and emphasise when we make these kind of judgments and our forecasts are conditioned on them, what the risks around those are.
Well, another £70 billion from the energy price guarantee is if the energy prices stay as they are.
And also a lower potential output for the UK as a country very dependent on gas for its electricity as well as heat.
There is another way of looking at this, which is that the wholesale prices stabilise at a level that is 3 or 4 times what was normal before the war, before the pandemic. The world does not have less gas. It's being disrupted by geopolitics.